No, sir. I've quit drinking.
You've seen the error of your ways.
No, I just can't afford it.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
Yes, sweetheart, I have a rare condition which requires me to drink one of those every 15 minutes, please.
Yeah, well, give me a fucking drink. Move it, you little prick.
I'm sorry, Bruce. These boys get that syrup in them. They get all antsy and they're pantsy. You just can't keep them under control.
Cheers and welcome back to Reels, Booze, and Bros, a.k.a. RB2. I am your host, Jay. Got my co-host here, Brian.
What up?
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the triumvirate is back. Nick is back.
I am still alive, boys and girls. Live and well.
He is with us. Gentlemen, bros.
Golf clap.
I hope you like the mint julep that we have for this movie. We'll go on in a second. But Nick, glad to have you back. Ghostbusters 2 was our last podcast. Did you happen to catch that? And your thoughts on Ghostbusters 2?
So, Ghostbusters 2, you know, was, for me, it was a good one, but I felt a little bit it was, you know, them trying to keep getting the cash cow on that one. But it was still, it had its moments. So I think I commented a couple times on Twitch. Or I think I tried to comment on Twitch, but my Amazon Prime quote-unquote Twitch account wasn't working properly,
Yes,
so I couldn't
right.
comment on it. So that's what I get for trying to use a free Amazon Prime Twitch account. But I was texting with you guys during it for a little while before I passed out. But yeah, it was good. It's good. I like to watch it with the scenes with the big crowds because one of Laura's cousins claimed the fame is that he was in those crowds partying for the movie, for the filming of the movie. He claims if you watch it, you see him in there. I have yet to see it. Laura claims it's true too. Yet to see it, but one of the things I look forward to when I watch it, and Vigo, you know,
Janusz. Why am I dripping with goo? Janusz. He was my Randy Watson, so that's all I gotta say. But it was a great movie. It was. We first started this podcast with Ghostbusters. We were trying to get as close as possible. So November 15th, actually in 4 days, it'll be a year on this podcast that we have been doing this, ladies and gentlemen. We actually got 1,000 downloads throughout this. Is before we hit as a huge milestone for us, which I'm very happy. Thank you to all you fans out there who listen to us and support the show. So what I decided to do is that we're going to have a contest. It's up on their website, reelsboozebros.com. It's on the main page. Check it out, where we'll be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. Listen, it's not a lot. I wish we give away booze, stuff like that. Stuff will go through the mail, but you can probably grab one of these movies you like or something like that. Christmas is coming up. I don't know. So the contest rules are pretty simple. All you got to do is subscribe to us on all of our social media, which is just 3 things: Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch here. Send us an email with all of your handles. Then it enters you in a contest. Our next episode we'll be doing is... Well, I can't tell you the end of the show, but it'll be next Friday. We'll announce a winner on there. So you have until the 20th, probably pretty much the 19th. So the 20th, that night, we'll be doing a show, live again on Twitch. We'll announce you on Twitch. And then we'll send you via email that the winner of your $25 Amazon gift card. So go check it out. And let's move on. So, Goldfinger. James Bond. Going old school here. Love it. This is our next trilogy. And as always, I said the booze today is, I brought this one. I decided to make it. Mint julep. What do you guys think? How is my mixology skills? It's pretty simple.
I haven't sipped it yet, but it smells delicious. I'll take a sip now.
It's actually pretty good. You know, I haven't. Jeez, I can't even tell you the last time I actually had a mint julep. I think it was the one time I was at
the Kentucky Derby?
Well, not at the Derby, but at a party for the Derby, which I don't even remember watching a Derby. So
yeah,
shows you how that goes.
Yeah, as Bond states later on in Goldfinger, he asked for a mint julep, which is a great. Nick made the suggestion. I'm like, we have to do it because I love.
It was either that or a gin martini, and
I'm not
gin and martini. It's a bad combination.
Yeah, it's not my thing. So the mint julep is where I'm at. So the bourbon whiskeys, love it. It's a simple. It's just, as you can see, I got a Woodford Reserve, and we're gonna go to Kentucky because they were somewhere in Kentucky by the Fort Knox, and it's a simple syrup. crushed ice, mint, 8 mint leaves to be exact, and that's it. Simple, straight, just like me. Now, let's move on. Background. So Goldfinger is a 1964 spy film and the third installment in James Bond series produced by Eon Productions, starring Sean Connery as the fictional MI6 agent James Bond. It is based on the 1959 novel the same name by Ian Fleming. The film also stars Honor Blackman as Bond girl Pussy Galore, a fantastic name. And Gert Frobe as the title character Ulrich Goldfinger, along with Shirley Eaton as the iconic Bond girl James Masterson. We got someone hopping in. Goldfinger was produced by Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman. It was the first of 4 Bond films directed by Guy Hamilton. So, come on down to the table. Thanks for waiting. We just got Kevin Zachary off, final host for the evening. Kev, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just dropped us in there in the background. We made mint juleps. I'll make you one in a moment, so you have to stand by once I finish the background.
Stand by.
All right.
Challenge me to drink this before he starts making the next round. Challenge accepted.
The film's plot has been Bond investigating gold smuggling by gold magnate Goldfinger, and eventually uncovering Goldfinger's plans to contaminate the United States billion depository at Fort Knox. Goldfinger was the first Bond blockbuster with a budget equal to that of the 2 preceding films combined. Principal photography took place from January to July 1964 in the United Kingdom, Switzerland, and the U.S. Okay, last one for a little background. So Goldfinger was heralded as the film in the franchise where James Bond comes into focus. Its release led to a number of promotional license tie-ins, including a toy Aston Martin DB5 car from Corgi Toys, which became the biggest selling toy of 1964. The promotion also included an image of gold painted Eaton on the cover of Life. All right, so that was that. For a little background, so let's go on to the critic reviews. So Rotten Tomatoes, 99% of tomato meter, 89% audience score. IMDb, 7.7 out of 10. Metacritic, a Metascore of 87 out of 100. User score of 8.4 out of 10. So let's go on to the reviews. Brian, I'll go for you first. Kevin, I'll get you your mint julep. Stand by.
I guess going off those reviews, don't get me wrong, this is a classic James Bond film, but I'm not gonna throw it as like a 9.5 or whatever. I give it a solid 8.5. I do like it. This is probably my favorite Sean Connery Bond that he does. But I guess it's different because of like what we've grown up with and seeing the more outlandish stuff that happens now. Not to be like a spoiler, but Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. So with that being said, I'm going to lean more towards his Bonds as being better and all that sort of stuff just because of today's action and all that sort of stuff. But it is cool to see the differences of like, what is it, 50 years ago that this movie was made? Yeah. Almost like 60.
It was 60
Yeah.
I just said 64.
No, it was almost 60 years ago.
I never listened to background.
No, I'm just saying it was almost 60 years ago this movie was made. But still, it's...
no, I mean, you're doing a great job at social.
But it's cool to see the differences that this franchise is still around and still as big as it is. And to be honest with you, he's kind of like a real life superhero, if you kind of want to put it that way, because he's this sort of like amazing spy and people just wanted to be him, and he's arguably one of the greatest characters we've ever had in cinema history. So gotta love James Bond. Anyone else want to?
All right, yeah, I'll just jump in.
Let's go with the next one up on the table. Kevin, you're up, sir.
All right, so I was actually thinking when you were going over the critic reviews, this is probably one of the highest rated movies we've had, besides maybe Goodfellas, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think we're just saying that.
But I will give this movie probably a 9. I think I don't know which one is like my favorite Bond movie. This is definitely my favorite Sean Connery one also. Yeah. I have to think about the other ones also. But this is like one of the few ones that like I remember from start to finish also. I know that I love James Bond movies and I've seen them all, but if you ask me things that happen in specific ones, they all kind of blend together after a while, so it gets confusing.
Well, there's what, like 24 of them? So
yeah. But this one I think has, 2 great villains. The female characters I don't think are really all that interesting in this one. And Pussy Galore is a terrible name, but we can talk about that later.
It's like the childhood of me, like Pussy Galore.
Jay loved it. Kevin didn't. Battle Royale.
I'm sure when I was like 8, I'm sure it was hilarious.
That's what I thought. My inner child.
Every time I watch it now, I'm just like, oh, that's unfortunate. But no, this it's a great movie, and like Brian said, also James Bond's just a cool superhero type character, basically. Who somehow is just invulnerable to people shooting at him usually. But I would say this is a 9 for me. I love this movie.
All right, Nick, go right ahead. What you got?
If we were talking about the James Bond GoldenEye game on Nintendo 64, I'd be giving it 9s, 10s. But I don't know. I like the Bond movies, but I don't love the Bond movies. So for me, I'd put this like closer to like a 7, 7.5. It just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It was good to it was good to rewatch it and like see how far we've come from movies, and to see how it was done. But I don't know. It's just some of the puns were just a little.
So when you said that, how far we've come, there's one. There's probably a couple, but there's one fight scene that stood out. I was like, oh, this is like terribly choreographed.
Yeah. It was probably the first one when he's in the bedroom or the bathroom, whatever room that was. That was the first thing I said. I said, man, they really choreographed this terrible. Like it was bad. You could blatantly see when it wasn't Sean Connery and the other guy and when it was. Like,
but I think we were talking about this before, just saying like this is something that like I think all our dads like passed on to us, like this is something that they watched and they're like, oh, well, let me get my son into this, my son's into this, just because they're continuing all these different movies down the line. So it's just something cool that you could watch with your dad.
My dad still watches these movies whenever it's on, and my mom is sitting there going, I hate these fucking movies.
Some things never change.
and I gotta poll you guys. Bond theme songs, yay or nay?
Not really.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I'm not.
It's like one of the
soundtrack that plays, that like guitar thing that plays when he's actually doing stuff. That's fine. But you mean the opening?
I mean
song
the opening. The opening song.
Never been a fan.
The
one in this one is okay.
Me to watch it.
It's okay.
This one's okay, but. Give me a lot
of the ones they make big deals about the song and whichever famous singer is doing them, and I just don't.
Even when I was younger, and it was it was the Pierce Brosnan when Tina Turner did it.
Yeah,
and even then I was like, oh, this is such a waste.
Yeah, Madonna did one for him also. I think she did Die Another Day. I think is the one she did.
Oh yeah,
the one that Adele did for she did Skyfall, right?
Right,
and that was the best one. And there's no one else has come close.
It's probably like giving it 15 seconds, 20 seconds at most. Doing the song over the credits in the beginning, but
it's evolved from this movie to what it is now.
Yeah.
Like it's a full on fucking music video now.
Right.
That's actually I was gonna say that the Bond ballad. That's what I like to call it. It's a
cool intro. Don't get me wrong.
It's totally different from all the movies that's going on. So, but other than that, I can't deal with the Bond ballad. So when it comes to me, classic. When I think of this movie, I think of this is what James Bond's films is what I remember, especially now with Daniel Craig and how they brought it back to what is like this. Because Pierce Brosnan was like his Bond was just like way out there and got a little too crazy some of the stuff they did. Even though I'm not saying Daniel Craig's Bond wasn't there.
Pierce Brosnan doesn't look like an action
the
star.
scene when Daniel Craig's fighting on that crane in the sky with the other guy, that doesn't do it for you? That didn't go too far for you?
I know. I think, as the Bond movies kept going on, I want to
say Brosnan like hanging onto a helicopter and he's like holding it in place in one of the movies also.
Yeah. It's more or less like, I guess when we go to, because with Casino Royale and how he just started bringing it back. Very simple, small settings, not like this big out robust scene stuff. Like he's like running across where was he, the favelas or somewhere, and one of the other ones I can't remember. I have to ever see those again.
No, you don't.
But I said Goldfinger he had a simple plan for a villain, and Bond in Bond fashion does what he does best, stops the villain so damn sexily. Fucking he's so good looking, love him. What else? And that's what I got for reviews. We have in the back. Oh, as always, we have in the background. We had the movie going on. Hope you guys are following along. Goldfinger. I'm told we're having problems A lot of Facino was way better than the Austin Powers spoof. A lot of vagina. There we go.
Well, and that's the other thing. When you were saying you could remember a lot of this movie, is it that you remember a lot of this movie, or do you remember a lot of the spoofs that they pulled from Goldfinger? You know,
he loves gold.
You know, like a lot of the stuff.
It's
like,
kind of my thing, you know.
Yeah.
Your fascia.
No, I will say I do actually like this movie a lot. So I do know this movie.
I know it's cool as shit. The things going on with the Aston Martin, like the technology ahead for its time. So all right, let's move on. The old lady shooting the what is that?
James Bond fooled by a mirror, the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Favorite scenes. Kev, you want to start with some favorite scenes? What do you got for us?
Oh, all right. I think even just to start, like a lot of the introduction to Bond films is always him doing something, spy-worthy.
Yes.
So even him with the stupid duck on his head when he's going through the marina, setting up the C4. And it leads into the first fight scene that we talked about also with the random guy in the background. So, that's just, you see that's kind of stereotypical for all the Bond films. Just, you just jump right into some sort of action that just gets everything going. But again, choreography could have been probably a little better these days. From there, I'll go into the golf scene, I guess, when he first meets Goldfinger on the golf course with Oddjob, who looks ridiculous as a caddy when you first see him. He's got the little golf bag, and it's like,
yes.
All right, it seems good for him.
I want him as my caddy.
Yeah,
that's right.
So yeah, so that's where they obviously both know who each other are, and just sizing each other up. They have the whole gamble with the gold bar on the golf course. Mm-hmm. And it looks like Goldfinger is not very solid off the tee, which I can relate to. So. From there, I have. I know you guys are going to go over a lot of things. Also, the scene was on in the background before the entire factory scene. I think basically from when Bond shows up at the factory to him meeting Tilly Masterson. Him saying,
yes.
or her saying that she's actually trying to kill Goldfinger, and he tells her that, well, you're a terrible shot.
Yeah. So who are you shooting at?
And then all the way through the entire scene, the chase scene throughout everything, he uses. I mean, the other part that I didn't go over is him first seeing Q and going over all the new gadgets, and they obviously mentioned here's the ejector seat. Don't ever touch this button. So then once they show Bond, going for the gear shift, you're like, oh, here it comes.
Yep.
It's happening. So I have that scene also, and then right after that, the laser scene. So where he's actually tied up. Yep, there you go. So he's tied to the table. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's the best scene, but it's probably, I think, the most memorable scene from the movie. Him actually being laid out, the laser going there, and the whole I expect you to die. So good times. And even right after this, going into, it's kind of hard to split it up, but just the entire scene where Goldfinger is explaining the actual plan to all the other criminal investors that were there. It kind of cuts from him explaining it to him and then all the way through... I can't remember the guy's name that gets crushed in the vehicle. I was going to say Sulu, but it's not that. But
Mr. Sulu.
Yeah, I know. Different franchise.
Yes.
I got you. So, Nick, what do you think?
So yeah, I had a couple more to add to that. Not too many more, but for me was that one scene, the first scene in Miami when they do the helicopter view over the hotel, and the thing that really stuck out to me is, damn, the drones are so much better at doing that than the helicopters were. Because I was like getting motion sickness with that thing going up and down as it was flying by the hotel. But all kidding aside, that whole scene where Sean Connery is interacting with Goldfinger and he kind of stiffs him by cutting off the ability for him to know the cards of the guy that he's playing against, and then causes him to lose the 5,000, not just give back the 10 he already won, but to then lose another 5. I was kind of like, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, how you not see the hearing aid sticking out of his ear with the
I guess he thinks he's just listening to the radio,
right.
So
Or that it's maybe that's how hearing aids were back then.
Oh yeah,
you know, that was the technology at the time. That's what I thought. Then this part was on before, but when they showed Bond's car, when Q was showing Bond's car, and it was like, I don't know, I'm gonna guess, so I'm gonna throw it out there, but the first GPS ever, I mean, it even, you watched it even as he drove, the positioning of it moved with him, you know, like it was like, oh my goodness, this is like 40 years ahead of its time.
The map updates every time he uses it also.
Yeah,
so it's not just some like random thing they put there to make it look like, it's not like the Top Gun bogey track in the background. Beep, beep, beep.
And then the last one that I had was we just saw it before was the scene with the old lady. She just cracks me up as this sweet little old lady cooking, and then she comes out and opens up the gate, and you're like, oh, that's so sweet.
Have fun storming the castle.
Yeah, it's so sweet. They let this lady do the door, and then you're like, well, how secure is this? And then Bond's trying to leave, and all of a sudden there she is with a machine gun trying to gun him down. Like, all right.
I don't think she actually talks. She just
she doesn't talk at all.
Yeah. And she can't shoot for shit as his gun. The kick on that submachine gun.
Well, she was hitting the windshield, so she was close enough. You can see all the bullet holes there.
I don't know how she could. She's probably looks like she's about 4'4", so like I don't know, like her thing.
The kickback on that submachine gun is just there it goes.
No, she's low center of gravity, rooted to the ground.
I see. Nick, what else you got for us?
That was really about it. I tried to keep it short because I thought you guys would have a lot.
Brian, what you got for us? Flipping that note page?
Yeah, for me, I pretty much have the same stuff. I have the opening scene, just because how it sets up the Bond character and like how that pretty much sets up for like every movie and how they keep that going for, I don't know, 25 movies now. It's just really cool how they do it. It gets more elaborate each one. The first meeting with Goldfinger is what, like Nick was saying, when he sees him in Miami. I like that whole scene because it just it almost looks fake, like how it's shot, but I'm sure
it is. That's 100%.
Like it's so weird to.
It's 100% fake.
It's
that background is like totally.
But I'm sure it is, but it's just like wherever they are, like just like every time in every Bond movie he goes to like the most luxurious hotel, and you're like, wow, is this Miami now? And it's just like, what happened to Miami in the 70s and 80s? I don't know. But it's just like how
a lot of cocaine at that hotel.
Yeah. But no, it was cool to see all that sort of stuff.
I don't think that came. What was that the 70s, 80s is when they became 80s with cocaine.
They still had it.
Or 90s.
But the 70s, 80s was really when it took off for them. But yeah, like Nick was saying, when he forces them to lose, and get to the payback even more money. So I'll go with that. I have when he meets Q and Q's give him all the his toys for the mission and everything, so like that. I thought that was really cool. Pretty much stuff that was like ahead of their time, and they had like what did they have, like was it like not a telephone pole?
It's if you park your car.
The parking meter with
parking
like
meter.
the gas coming out. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck would use this? Like, I saw that. I'm like, what is? I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what? You put in like 35 cents and goes off. Yeah. You put in too much.
It's just for the people who try to put in pennies.
Yeah. Then they had the bulletproof vest going. Like.
And then the guy was like, still needs work.
Yeah. But then it gets to the Aston Martin, and that's I feel like for me that's like one of the first things I think of, like when I hear James Bond, is like that Aston Martin, and like just that car is just fucking gorgeous, and he just gives them all the gadgets, and like Nick said, it could be the first GPS of all time. I do love the Bond versus Goldfinger golf match. Like you said, they're sizing each other up. They both know who each other are, and he's like, oh, it's not coincidence that we meet again, so. I do like that Bond catches him cheating in the match. And we've all been on the golf course and, someone who's completely lying about where they hit it. Nah, it's like 50 yards up, bro. No, it's not. It's like right there.
I'm standing on his ball.
It reminded me of the joke that Rob said, where he's like, do you tell the guy that you have his ball in his pocket?
But I like how he flips it on him later on and on the 18th hole. And then he's like, weren't you playing Salinger 1?
Yeah. It's a Salinger 7, so it looks like you lost, bitch.
Yeah, and he was like... But the one thing, like, at the end, like, when they're, like, waiting, he's going to get ready to pay him the money, it's like... How obvious did he make it that he fucking planted a tracker in there? Like
that's what.
Yeah. Like that he would just randomly hang it by the
just
trunk.
Like you don't think our job is like, what the fuck were you just doing?
Yeah. You're
I'm not gonna look
the
for
trunk
anything,
on this thing.
Like, so it's just
They made these really big in this model, huh?
What a room, huh? For the dead body?
Just thinking of dirty work. Plenty of dead hooker storage in there. These cars are fully loaded.
Great movie.
And then the other one I have is Bond versus Oddjob. The final fight. It's ridiculous. It's not a good fight.
It's
at
also
all.
horribly choreographed.
Yes,
Also,
that's one. I'm like, it's a horrible fight, but it's just him.
but it's cool.
Yeah, him throwing the hat, and it's just like really. But then he electrocutes him at the end. It was just like, what the fuck?
It's like he electrocuted the guy in the first fight scene.
Yeah, and he said he had a corny line at the end.
Shocking. He blew fuse.
And then he sees the girl, absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, those were my scenes that I had.
Very nice. So I pretty much the same thing with you guys, but I want to say I love the dinner scene between Bond, Smithers, and M.
Yeah.
Got the dudes in tuxes drinking some fine booze, smoking cigars, and chatting about taking down a villain. How fucking cool is that? I love that.
Well, you
scene.
say fine booze, but the one guy is like, "Oh, this stuff sucks. What'd you bring this here for?"
Yeah, it was a brandy that they said it was. So
real madmen.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I don't know. I strive to be that. Just sit around, like butler come around, just. So I enjoy
He
that.
cuts the cigar for him. He's like, "All right, you can fuck off now."
Yeah, we're gonna talk some
Go
villain
back to your
shit.
quarters.
Like snapping fingers.
Come back when I need you.
Yep. So that's pretty much what I had, and gotta have the golf scene. But that's it. 'Cause I love golf. Doing a disservice. All right, now moving on. So we did the favorite scenes, favorite quotes. I feel like there weren't a lot, but as opposed to other movies, I got a couple in there. Who wants to start off? Want to go with Nick? What you got for us?
Yeah, I could start it off. So, even though I complained about the puns, I actually did like the shocking one from the opening fight scene.
Oh, it's shocking.
Yeah. And another one that I liked was when Q was showing him the car and Bond says to him, like, "Are you joking?" And then Q gets all serious. He's like, "I never joke about my work."
That was the ejector. It's so weird. Like, it seems like the ejector seat is like the weirdest thing he's ever heard, and he's like, very serious about my work.
Yeah, he's like guns in the car and all that.
007. And then the last quote that I had was when Bond and Goldfinger are talking about the horse when he gets to Kentucky, and he's like, certainly bred better than its owner. Taking a shot at Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger.
I was like, well played, Bond. Well played.
All right, so Kev, what you got?
Oh, all right. Well, we were joking about the other theme songs also, and it's not the best. It's not a great quote, but just the end of the song is just the woman screaming, basically, "He only loves gold, only gold," and that's just made me think of the Austin Powers movie. I love gold.
It's kind of my thing.
So there's that. There's like kind of like small talk things that Bond does also. They're both at the Miami hotel. So there's when he's getting the massage at the very start, and Felix goes, "I thought I'd find you in good hands." And then he says, Dink, say hello to Mr. Felix. And then he says, "All right, say goodbye, Mr. Felix, man talk."
Yeah, run along, man talk.
And slaps her on the ass going away also. So, by the way, her name was Dink. It's a terrible name. And then I just have one thing, the hotel, like the maid or housekeeping that's going around, where he steals the key from her, and she goes, "That's Mr. Goldfinger's room." He goes, "Yes, I know. You're very sweet." Just walks away. So he has like all these like weird throwaway lines.
It's like the $2 ain't worth for this shit. Let him
I actually did write down the quote about the brandy that they had also. It's like, so the one guy, I think Smithers was actually his name. He says, "I have a little more of this rather disappointing brandy." The one guy goes, "What's wrong with it?" And that's Bond says, "It's like a 30-year-old fine, indifferently blended with an overdose of Bombois," or whatever that is. So,
yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know. Let's see. Oh, so when he meets Oddjob on the golf course, and he's just sitting there and just standing there not doing anything with the gigantic golf bag, he says, "You must excuse Oddjob, Mr. Bond. He's an admirable manservant, but mute. He's not a very good caddy. Golf is not the national game of Korea."
It's hat throwing, if you didn't know that.
Yeah. And then right after that, when the game is over, you're a clever, resourceful man, Mr. Bond, perhaps too clever. Twice our paths have crossed. Let's leave it at that. I think our first meeting would have convinced you. And then he says, "Many people have tried to involve themselves in my affairs unsuccessfully." Just to move ahead, so we do get the line on the airplane, martini shaken, not stirred. So that's off. And then right afterwards, Pussy Galore. You can turn off the charm. I'm immune.
So she thinks.
And then from Goldfinger's speech, when he's explaining the entire thing about how, what's going to happen. So he says, man has climbed Mount Everest, gone to the bottom of the ocean. He's fired rockets at the moon, split the atom, achieved miracles in every field of the human endeavor. And then yells, except crime! that's his supervillain moment right there.
That's right. There's that little villain speech.
And I just like this towards the end of the movie.
So you had Brian?
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's getting on the plane.
You do your render next.
When he thinks he's going to be... Sorry. When he's getting on the plane after the mission is supposedly successful, and he says, do you think I'll be able to get a drink here? So Felix says, I told the stewardess liquor for 3. So James Bond says, who are the other 2? Oh, there's no other 2. So then just what I think is, one of the most important lines is, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. So that's what I have for the quotes.
I see. Brian, let's move along.
You guys said everything. I'm just going to add 2 in there. They're both from Bond. One was in the hotel in Miami. He was like, my dear girl, there are some things that just aren't done, such as drinking Dom Perignon 53 above the temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs. Like, it was just... Then he just gets crushed.
I wonder what that kind of means. Does that mean you're not supposed to listen to the Beatles? Like, you just put earmuffs on and be like, oh, fuck these guys.
Yeah. So, then next Odd Job just crushes him in the back of the head.
Wait, karate chops him in the neck.
He said, who knows how long he's out for? Obviously, probably misses breakfast.
Long enough that Don P is going to be over 38 degrees.
The fridge was open all night. Can you believe it?
The fucking nerve. Odd Job could have at least put it back.
Yes. Ruined it.
No respect.
And then the other one was manners, Odd Job. I thought you always took your hat off to a lady.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's stupid, but I like it. Yeah.
I see.
That's it. You guys had the other one.
All right, very nice. I pretty much got the same, but here we go. My name is Pussy Galore. I must be dreaming. And then here we go. Goldfinger. Tomorrow at dawn, the flying circus of my personal pilot, Miss Pussy Galore, will spray into the atmosphere. Come on, man.
He calls them a flying circus. It's not very nice. They're trained pilots. Pussy Galore is very proud of her girls.
That's exactly.
Is Monty Python coming to town? I'm so confused.
I know, like 12-year-old me was like, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot about that. I guess because it was the main lines. I said you get the I know I expected to die, Mr. Bond. Oh, and the iconic Bond, James Bond, on that line. So that's what it is. But oh my God, I love it. So that's what we got for them short hoes. Thank you, Jay Weezy in the chat. Before we move on, before we take a break, I want to say, going back to the Miami, I love that like little jumper short like towel thing that Bond has on.
Oh, yeah.
The onesie. Remember that? After he goes and gets his massage, puts things on and goes and sees what's her face?
Jill Masterson.
Jill Masterson. I was thinking about Tilly, the sister. That thing's awesome. I want one of those. Christmas list, if anyone knows. Find out where I can get that. It looks so fucking comfortable.
Just lounging around the house.
Yeah. I see. All right, so that's gonna.
Daddy's a regular.
That's where we're gonna put it. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna, let's see. We'll see if we maybe switch to beer and do another mint and julep. These are pretty good. We'll see how it's going. I got chugging it. Holy shit! You guys liked it that much. So chat, stay with us, and we'll be right back. Now, pussy, you know a lot more about planes and guns. That's a Smith & Wesson 45. If you fire at me at this close range, the bullet will pass through me and the fuselage like a blowtorch through butter. The cabin will depressurize and we'll both be sucked into outer space together. If that's how you want to enter the United States, you're welcome. As for me, I prefer the easy way. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Reels, Booze, and Bros, a.k.a. RB2. We are back. Going to finish up the rest of this podcast. Let's bring you back to, as you see in the booze cam right here, we still got the mint and julep. It's going down pretty well. A lot pretty fast actually, and we decided I brought this one too. It's Gold Cliff IPA. You know, sticking with the theme, gold here, Goldfinger. We really wanted to get. Nick and I came to the conclusion, what was it? Icarus, we want the gold, which is way better than this, but this is what they had. None of us can make it down to Icarus, a little far for us.
You'll get what you get and you won't get upset.
Sounds like my kid coming from fucking kindergarten.
Directly to bed without dessert.
Fuck that. If I want a good beer, I'm going to fucking pay for it. So. Oh, excuse me. So the Gold Cliff IPA, it's not bad. I gave it, I think, a 3.5 on the Tap app. You know, it'll give me a throw, but I'll stick with the mint julep a lot better. Guys, what do you think? Gold Cliff IPA? Brian, you seem to be looking at it a lot. It's at a 7%, I think it is.
I love that smell.
Got a nice smell, but
great. You smell the pineapple.
Yeah,
you do.
Oh, you can definitely taste it. I just took a quick swig because I didn't know we were doing the review that quick.
Okay, well,
it's good. No, but so I did try it, so it is good. You 100% taste the pineapple, and we say this a lot when we do this. Well, not every time, but this is one where it definitely does not taste like a 7.2.
Yeah.
So it tastes really light, actually. It kind of tastes more like those grapefruit beers. They make it like the beer halls. Like, I can't remember the Schafferhofer or whatever.
Oh, that's real, like.
But that's really light.
Like
but it has that sweet. But it has that sweet taste to it, though.
Right.
So that's what it reminds me of.
The first, I took a sip right after finishing the mint julep, so I didn't like.
Yeah, you gotta get a swig of water.
Yeah, I had the water.
Cleanse the palate. There we go. Should we get a lemon sherbet out here?
I literally took a swig of water right before.
I don't know how I feel about this. But it's actually pretty good. I like it. You do get the pineapple. It does have a nice aroma on it.
A little boosh to cleanse the palate.
It does not taste like a 7.2. So that. I guess that's good, which is also troubling. But
it's almost more straight up ale-ish for me than it is IPA.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said this as an IPA, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I
mean, it's got a little bit of the bitterness, but the body of it and everything is a little more ale-ish.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that.
Man, the cars they have in this movie are fucking fantastic.
You know, I was thinking, like, it's just such a shame that they destroyed that car like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? I actually wonder how much Goldfinger's gold car was making weighs. They were smelting it down. I'm like, that's got to be heavy as shit.
Yeah. Yep. Well, he said 2 tons.
Yeah,
did he actually say that?
Yeah,
Okay,
when he says it, that when they smelt down 2 tons.
The gas miles will be horrendous on that one.
I was like, I'm amazed the thing even drives.
We'll see. Okay, so moving on. Let's
steering wheel's got to be a bitch to turn.
Actually, I don't think power steering was invented yet. Was power steering invented yet at that time?
I have no idea.
The 60s? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, now let's bring it back. Movie awards. Here we go. Best quote. Who wants to go first? Who was itching at this? Pussy galore. 12-year-old me says, yes, I am dreaming.
The best quote is every time they say pussy galore.
Yeah, that's her name.
The best quote happens at least 20 times.
We should look up. Is that actually a real name? Like I don't know. Anyway,
for a cat, maybe. and at least one other thing.
The willow?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Like willow.
I love that. I wrote mine sloppy, so I love Private Part. All right, bring it back. Here we go. So, best quote. You know what? I'm going to go with Goldfinger. No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. Look at that GPS.
Do you turn to Borat in the middle of that quote?
I can't. He's like Russian, I think, or like Eastern.
I think he's German.
German, maybe one of those.
German, yeah.
So I had to watch Beer Fest to get my German accent.
No, they said he's British, but he doesn't have a British accent.
No, in real life, I think he's like actually like.
In real life, he's definitely like German, I think.
Yeah. I think I watched a little BTS, but he couldn't like speak English well, and someone actually dubbed his lines. So
Oric
get out of here!
I just looked it up. Oric is an English name. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I said he was from.
So
British.
yeah, British.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I assumed German, because it sounds like a weird. It sounds like a weird German name.
It does though, because if you've seen the show on Netflix, Dark, one of the main guys' name's Orc. Hey, fuck it, let's bring it back. So I got mine. What else you got, Brian? What you got for best quote?
It's tough. I mean, like, there's the iconic quotes from Bond and like James Bond, or shaken, not stirred. But if anything, I'll probably have to lean towards the one from Goldfinger, where, like Kevin said before, where man has climbed Mount Everest, and all that stuff, and then just like it's like his little soliloquy, and he's like, "Accept crime."
$1 million. Okay, got
it. It's just kind of like the quintessential bad guy line where I feel like maybe he made that for movies to come later on, where he's kind of giving you the plot.
Okay, got it. So, Kev, what you got for us?
So there's one quote that I didn't mention before. It's not the best quote, but it was probably the best laugh I had in the movie. It's just a James Bond smart ass line. It's when he gets on the plane at the end and Goldfinger shows up in the military uniform. He just looks at him and goes, "Hey, congratulations on your promotion, Goldfinger. Are you going to have lunch at the White House too?" This is just you would think for most people it's like an oh shit moment. He's here and doing whatever, and James Bond's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get another burn in real quick." But if I'm going with what I think is the best quote of the movie, I agree with Jay. It's, "Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die."
Yeah, I could easily see that as it too, but I like the one that I just said just because.
Oh, I like that one too.
I feel like it has more meaning for.
I feel bad for stealing it from you.
Hey, this is your opportunity to one up Kevin and say, "I'm a fucking true host. You're a real bro fan."
Yeah.
So, Nick, you want to disagree? Agree? You throw something else in there? Pussy galore?
I mean, those are all good. All right, I got to stick with the certainly bred better than its owner. Or certainly better bred than its owner. That's just one that always gives me a chuckle when I hear it. So I think that's what I'm going to throw in there.
Fucking glad to have your back, Nick. Fucking way out in left field, pulls out a quote out of nowhere. It says, "Bro, this is the movie. This quote defines the movie right here. This is it for me." Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year anniversary. Nick, thank you.
About what entertains me. I'm not Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah. So, chat, you guys are listening on this. Can you agree with us? You want to throw something else in there? What do you think your favorite quote of this movie is? And then while that's going on, you think of that, post it, and we're gonna move on to let's go. Best scene. Who wants to go first? Nick, let's hear your.
I'm going to stick with my way out there theme and go with the sweet old lady with the machine gun. Because once again, I see it and I can't stop laughing. It's just one of those great scenes for me.
Okay, moving on. Kev.
So I'm going the opposite direction because that's a very short scene. Mine's kind of cheating because it's long. I'm basically putting the entire time from when Bond arrives in...
The theme song?
Yeah. So when he arrives when Bond arrives in the duck hat until he's at the whatever they crash land with Pussy Galore. That's the best scene. No, I'm just saying it's on in the background now. The whole time he's at wherever they are in Baltimore, right? They said.
Look at that mint julep.
No, they're in Kentucky.
Oh, the plane landed in Baltimore and then they went there after.
Yeah.
Look at that mint julep. There is no ice in there. Ours is way better. Is there?
It's floating at the top.
I know, but it's supposed to be crushed ice is what really makes a drink going on. I read it on the internet. And I'm sorry, Kev, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I'm not important. But it's like I said, it's a long scene.
In the 60s.
But I just like from when he gets there, there's so much that goes on from Goldfinger explaining the plot, and even a scene like this now where they're sitting out there just chatting, having a good time. You have the scene just after this where he gets into the stupid fight with Pussy Galore. So I just like the whole thing of just seeing James Bond and Goldfinger just casually interacting when he's basically his prisoner. And you get the explanation of everything. You get the scene with the one guy that gets crushed. So I know it's a long scene, but I kind of look, this is the most interesting part of the movie to me. So
it kind of reminds me of Sherlock Holmes and what's the guy's name? Moriarty. Thank you. I always fucked that up. How they're going back and forth like there's two intelligent guys. Because I would say Goldfinger's pretty smart.
So you can see Goldfinger's telling him. So James Bond is trying to figure out what the plot is, and he's like, "You'll never get that gold out." He's like, "Who said anything about moving it?" And then you can see he's like, "Oh, so what's going on here?"
Yeah.
And even Goldfinger's like, "Come on, James, you can think. Come on, put it together, big boy. I believe in you. Put on your thinking hat."
I like that. Got it. So Brian, what you got for us?
I'm going to go back to the golf match. I think that's my favorite scene. It's their second real interaction. Their first real interaction. Bond does talk to him beforehand over his intercom. But like I said, they're both sizing each other up. They're trying to figure out, who he is, what his plan is, and all that sort of stuff. And then, you got golf involved, so that's always fun.
You have blatant cheating in golf going on. That's always fun too.
Someone loses a birthday.
You have Goldfinger missing a 6-inch putt on purpose when he puts the gold bar down. I can relate. Yeah. Not to the gold bar part. The missing the 6-inch putt.
Yeah. Happens on every hole.
Multiple times.
So yeah, I would go with the golf match as my favorite team.
Wow, look at that! 3 different kinds. For me, I'd have to go with playing the laser beam scene. You get the most iconic line for this movie. I expect you to die, and that one of those true torture devices where a slow death and where the villain just was talking or Bond trying to get how is he gonna get out of it. That's what I got. So 4 different views, 4 different scenes. Maybe I'm leaning towards Nick. I don't know why, but that's pretty funny with the old lady with the submachine gun. But I do like Kevin when we explain it. When you put it that way, as the two the antagonists, protagonists against each other, going back and forth. I don't know. So, chat, let us know. Everyone else, if you want to go.
Totally rape right there. Look at her face. She's not happy.
So, all right, now moving on.
She didn't want it, Kev.
Let's Randy Watson Award, Best Character. Pussy Galore, great name. Throwing it out there. That's it.
Before we do that, before we go to best character, sorry.
No, quite right.
I just want to say one thing. In regards to characters, I feel for any character with the last name of Masterson. It just sucks to be a Masterson in this movie.
Yes.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. Yeah.
It's like the Saving Private Ryan. All 3 of the brothers die. The 2 daughters die in this movie.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Terrible. And at least the first one got to have sex with Bond. The second one didn't get anything.
Yeah.
She didn't get anything.
Saving Private Masterson.
Her Mustang was totally destroyed.
They're sending 2 American flags to the Masterson family right now.
Masterson, where was that name in another movie, I want to say? I'm pretty sure that...
for some reason, I'm thinking there's a Danny Masterson in something.
Something.
Is that 70s show?
Yeah, he's an actor.
Oh, it's the name. Oh, okay. Is he on that 70s show?
Yeah. He's the one with the curly hair and the glasses.
Oh, he's the...
Yeah.
That's him. He's the beard guy that rapes girls. Got it. Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Let's
Tough beat for the Mastersons.
It just keeps getting worse. Just reinforces my statement.
I'd rather be fucking dead than going after a supervillain than be like that guy. So anyway,
all right, moving on. Sorry.
Go ahead. Best character. That's
I'm gonna take one from Nick, and I'm going with the old lady in the machine gun.
The old lady machine gun.
Wow. I wasn't even gonna go with that as the best character.
Damn. So Nick,
but you might get my vote though when we go to vote.
Listen, there's obviously you could. James Bond is obviously the best character.
Yeah.
You just can't put that out there. I do love Goldfinger because he's the quintessential bad guy, and I think he set the bar for bad guys later on in movies. So I do like him as that. But if we're just talking quick, real short, boom, 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 it's that lady because she's a Oompa Loompa out there with a machine gun.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
She reminds me of the mom in Goodfellas. Right? Don't you think?
I can see that. Yeah.
That could be her.
Just that,
sweet,
down.
That'd be great.
I settle down with a woman every night.
That'd be great.
That one's looking this way. This one's looking the other way. Reminds me of someone I know.
That's what she was doing when she was shooting. One looking one way, one looking.
Why don't you settle down with a nice girl?
All right, so we are back. No, not we. Just me, your host, Jay. So you're wondering why it cut out. Well, I screwed that up. I ran out of memory for my laptop where this gets recorded on, and we had some technical difficulties and lost the rest of the show. It cut out us also on our Twitch, so I was only able to get to a certain point, and we stopped at the Randy Watson Best Character Award. I honestly forgot who won. I had a little too much to drink. And the worst character, I don't remember who won either. I think for Randy Watson, we all had our own separate answers. I know Nick hated Odd Job. Kev liked Odd Job. I forgot who Brian had. I said Pussy Galore because of her great name. Worst character was Odd Job obviously for Nick. I went with Tilly Masterson, sister of Jill Masterson, who gets covered in gold paint Remember the Jill Masterson in the beginning of the movie? Tilly was horrible. She had no business being a spy. She almost shot James when he was on the cliff over there looking over at Goldfinger. And then they meet up, and she gets killed there by odd job, and she had no business being a spy. Tilly, yeah, you're just a waste of death. Now, moving on. We went to BTS, behind the scenes. So the movie was the fastest growing movie in movie history when it was released and was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. Pussy Galore, Anna Blackman introduced herself to James Bond, who replies, "I must be dreaming." The original script had Bond replying, "I know you are, but what's your name?" This deemed too suggestive and was changed or bleeped in some markets around the world, especially for the country of India. First appearance of the Q Branch workshop and its gadget testing was in this movie. The Aston Martin was initially reluctant to part with 2 of their cars for the production. The producers had to pay for the Aston Martin, but after the success of the movie, both at the box office and for the company, they never had to spend money on a car again. Let's see, Steven Spielberg cites this as his personal favorite of all the Bond movies and even owns an Aston Martin DB5 due to the impact this movie had on him. And lastly, with the passing of Sir Sean Connery on 10/31/2020, Shirley Eaton, who played Jill Masterson, is the last surviving major star of this movie. Honor Blackman died on 4/5/2020, followed by Margaret Nolan, who played Dink the masseuse, 6 months later on 10/5, and then Connery. Nolan and Connery died within 3 weeks of each other. Okay, that wrapped that up for a little BTS. And The Rock, can The Rock make this movie any better? I say no, but make him actually James Bond's caddy. And we had a couple other guys. People thought maybe Odd Job, but other than that, can't see it. Let's see, should there be a sequel franchise TV series? There always needs to be a Bond movie. And I vote for Idris Elba to be the next one. So we'll see how it's going on. Final thoughts? Obviously, it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. I love this movie. It's a great comeback movie to watch. It's just so entertaining that you really see where the Bond series has gone from this. It's simpler times, a simpler bad guy with a simpler plot on how to do what he wants to do for his bad guy stuff, and then as the Bond movies get later on, they get more extravagant and crazy, and the gadgets just get cool as hell. As I said, I recommend this movie. This really solidifies the James Bond continues to go on for there. Sir Sean Connery, thank you for your portrayal of James Bond. I loved it. Many others loved it. As you can tell, this is one of the greatest Bond movies out there, and I love Daniel Craig. I can't wait to see his latest installment and wish him a goodbye of the Bond series. And maybe one day we'll be doing that here on Reels, Booze, and Bros RB2 podcast about that final Bond movie. And so that's it for this show. Thank you for continuing with just me at the end. I know the other guys have been a lot more funny than their inputs going on, but we'll fix that. What I like to remember, don't forget to check out the website, reelsboozebros.com. There's a link there about the contest coming out, because actually since today I'm finishing up on the 14th to 15th when this is going to be out, this episode. There is our 1-year anniversary, and the contest will be out for us to get the $25 Amazon gift card. So hopefully you guys can win that card, who's going to win. Just make sure you listen to the rules. It's very quick and easy. They're on the website right there. And Twitch, thank you for joining us on our stream in the chat. We had a great time talking with y'all. Hopefully you guys can join us more on there. And our next episode will be, which one was it? It's going to be a Pierce Brosnan one. I think it's Die Another Day. I don't remember. I have to consult with the boys. But it's Pierce Brosnan we're doing next, and then we're going to finish up with Daniel Craig. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it. Cheers.